Density. We have an equation for density. Density is the mass of something divided by its volume. This is a fundamental property of substances. If you take a block of wood and you cut it in half, you change the mass of it, you change its volume, but you don't change its density. Calculating the density, we just take the mass of it, of the object, divided by the volume. So if we have a sample of a liquid with a volume of 22.5 milliliters and a mass of 27.2 grams, we're going to use our density equation. Density equals mass divided by volume. And here is our volume. It says volume of, but we should recognize that liter is a unit of volume. So even if it didn't give us the word volume, we should recognize that that's the volume. We want to put that on the bottom, 22.5 milliliters. The mass, gram is a unit of mass, mass of, so that's the mass, 27.2 grams. 27.2 divided by 22.5. My calculator's giving me this big old long mess. 1.20, eighths for the rest of your life. Eighths forever. 1.2088, repeating. What do I do with those units? Do they cancel out? Do I convert them or do anything to them? No. I just write them down as they are. I have grams per milliliter. Grams divided by milliliter. Just like that. How many sig figs should I keep in this answer? 3. This one has 3 and that one has 3. So 1.21 grams per milliliter. So an A student, or if you're wanting to be an A student, you need to do the sig figs the right way and learn it. Okay, if you're just trying to pass and you're really, the whole sig fig thing is making you crazy, a rule of thumb that'll get you close most of the time is look at what your numbers are to start with. Both of these are 3, answer's probably 3. Okay. So when we're calculating the density, we do need to use this equation. We just did an example of that. But sometimes we're calculating the mass or the volume and we're given the density. And then we can use the density as a conversion factor. So here's an example. For a liquid substance with a density of 1.32 grams per cubic centimeter, what volume should be measured to deliver a mass of 68.4 grams? We read the problem all the way through, and then let's look for the numbers. So there's a number, and you have to include the units. So we'll pull those guys out. 1.32. This fraction is written horizontally with a slash because it's a lot easier to type. But when you're writing it with your hand, make it a vertical fraction so that you recognize that it's a fraction. Grams per cubic centimeters. And then I have this other number, 68.4 grams. What are these? Well, it tells us density of. So this equals the density. Mass of 68.4. So this is the mass. There's 2 ways to solve this problem because we have an equation. So density equals mass over volume. We're looking for the volume. You can rearrange the equation, solve for volume, put the numbers in, and you're good. Okay, I find a lot of Chem 3A students are real shaky in their algebra and they end up solving for 1 over volume and getting the wrong answer. Or, you know, there's all these tricks, the DMV and the triangle and stuff. I don't recommend that. This is a conversion factor. For this liquid, this number of grams is equal to that many cubic centimeters. Here is my mass. They want a volume, right? So I want to find volume. So I'm going from mass to volume. What's a common unit of mass? What unit of mass shows up in these numbers, in the units? Grams. And what unit of volume is showing up in my problem? Centimeters cubed. So I'm given a mass in grams and I'm asked to find the volume in cubic centimeters. Does this allow me to convert from grams to cubic centimeters? It does. Anything that's grams per cubic centimeter, miles per hour, feet per lap, that's relating to different units. It's a conversion factor. So what I can do is I can just start with my mass, 48. Where did that come from? I'm writing it backwards? I don't know. 68.4. I have one arrow in my little map there. I have one fraction. Grams to cubic centimeters. Grams to cubic centimeters. I want to divide by this. I'm going to put it in the bottom so that it will cancel out. Now I look at my density. 1.32 is with gram. It has to stay with gram. They're best friends. You can't split them up. Let centimeters cubed go on the other side of whatever they're being on the other side of. So 68.4 divided by 1.32, and I get 51.81 repeating, and the unit will be cubic centimeters. How many sig figs should that answer have? 3. Both the numbers that I had there had 3. So 51.8. I have this strange ability to say one thing while I'm writing something else. It's not a very useful skill. Okay? Any questions? I would encourage you to use density as a conversion factor rather than rearranging the equation. If you're good with algebra and you want to rearrange the equation, you go right ahead. You'll be fine. This is a table from your book that lists some densities, and you may need to refer to this when doing homework problems. You definitely do not need to memorize densities of random objects or substances. If you need it on an exam, I'll give it to you. That's not something you memorize. I don't want to do these right now. I don't want to do that one either. I do want to talk about this one real quick because it's just crazy. 1999, I know that was a long time ago. NASA lost a $94 million orbiter because 2 groups of engineers didn't communicate about what units they were using. One group was using centimeters, one was using inches. And so they calculated things wrong, and it was orbiting at too low of a distance over Mars, and so it spiraled into the atmosphere and burned up and was lost, and they basically got no data at all from it. $94 million over centimeters and inches. Units matter. Units are really important. I get a lot of students in 3A want to be nurses or going into the medical field. Do you think it matters whether you give a patient a milliliter of a drug or a liter of it? Yeah, it matters a lot. So units, really important. So we're going to write our units. Okay, so that's an interesting problem, but we're not going to do it. Here at the end of the chapter, again, it goes through chapter and review. And so if you're looking for a study guide, those are the things we covered.